Yep, we are back, and today we're talking about Marvel.
Yep.
The MCU, more
Marvel,
specifically.
Marvel villains specifically.
Yeah, so we were thinking about talking about the films, but it just takes too fucking long because there's 22 of them in the well,
You
it's
know
not
what?
the
Okay,
first
we were talking about all the films, and we got 20 minutes in, and we were still on Iron Man 1, and we just thought we don't have like 12 hours.
We thought of a different idea. We thought, why don't we talk about the villains? They're interesting. Maybe we could rate them or something. I don't know.
Sure.
That's rate. I said the word rate there. Mumble my words there.
Okay. You got my hopes up, and then you just took it away.
All right, Thanos, Captain Thanos theory.
I'd snap half of those.
So MCU, Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's just finished the first. I was about to say phase, but it's not a phase, is it? It's the Infinity Saga.
Yeah, there may be spoilers for the last film if you haven't seen it. I mean, we are just talking about the villains, but Thanos is a pretty big part of the last film as well.
I mean, Thanos has been an idea from, I don't know whether from the beginning, but from at least the end
When
of
did
the
he come in and go, fine, I'll do it myself?
That was at the end of Age of Ultron.
So what was he before that? No, he was before that.
He turned and looked at the camera a little bit over his shoulder at the end of the first Avengers.
Okay.
He had quite a big cameo in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
And then that was in 2014. And a year after that was Age of Ultron, where he had fine, I'll do it myself.
By the first Avengers film, he was definitively in.
He was established. Yeah. He exists.
Yeah.
This is going to happen at some point.
Wasn't played by Josh Brolin at that point, though.
It wasn't, but he sounded similar enough that I didn't really notice.
Yeah. So such a small bit part.
He looked really pink as well. His face was a different colour. I'll see if I can find a picture of it. But Thanos in, obviously, the Avengers films, the newer ones anyway, he's like purple.
Mm.
Let me see if I can find, he looks like magenta pink. Thanos in, what's it, 2012. It should have like a little clip or something.
Got any images?
He looks really, really pink.
Yeah, he does actually.
It's strange.
I mean, they've still got the general, like...
And his eyes are really bright as well.
Go up. There's an image where it compares the two, then and now.
Yeah, so this is him in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep.
And this is him in Infinity War.
Yeah, when he got all Josh Brolin.
Yeah, exactly. But he's similar enough that...
You can tell who it is.
CGI as well. Like, even though there's 4 years difference, CGI here is pitiful. But I don't know, is it motion capture back then?
I don't know if it was.
Because obviously if it's not Josh Brolin, then it
wasn't going to look like him. So
the first villain in the very first 2008 film, the Iron Man film, the one that started it all, is a guy called Ironmonger.
Mm-hmm.
He is a character. Fuck, what's the character called?
Jeff Bridges.
I was about to say Giovanni. No, what's his name?
Jeff Bridges.
No, that's the actor.
He plays himself.
I forget his name. Anyway, he's part of Tony Stark's company, and he's got a chip on his shoulder and wants to take over it. So he tries to have him killed.
He pretty much starts the entire thing of every villain pretty much being the hero, but bad.
I saw something funny on the internet, actually. Someone said, back in simpler days where this bald guy was the biggest threat of Tony's life,
yeah.
Where this bald guy...
Not all the other bald guys that came along, because if you're Iron Man, your villain is bald.
Yeah, the Mandarin.
Got the Mandarin, you got Ironmonger. You've got... No, in the second one he didn't have one, did he?
Well, he had Ivan Vanko.
Who had a lot of hair.
He had a lot of hair and a lot of Botox.
But there was a lot of bald guys in the first film. They were all bald.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the guy from the Ten Rings was bald as well, wasn't he? The terrorist group.
Both of them were.
So, what powers... What powers are there? Well, he has a sonic taser, which immobilizes people. This is the villain, by the way.
Would have been really helpful.
Really helpful. Ant-Man should have... Ant-Man should have taken it straight up of Thanos' Thanos.
Yep.
Switched it on.
Well, you didn't. I don't understand why that never shows again. He's like...
Right, okay, because in the film they say that the board didn't approve of this because it's basically morally bankrupt. It's a fucked up thing that...
Yeah.
Even though these are the same guys that sell bombs.
Yeah, they... Murder's fine, but paralysing for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's where you draw the line.
If they had established that it had side effects that may have disabled you permanently or made you shit your pants, then I could understand.
Well, it does kill you after a while, but
I Oh yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because he uses it on the other fellow.
But like, for a quick 2 minute, that shouldn't have been morally wrong. Surely, tasers exist. They do the same thing. It's just a lot worse. But no, that would have been so good against Thanos. Imagine Thanos about to snap his fingers, and then, like you said, Ant-Man comes up behind him with like the thing, or like anyone. He uses it on anyone. Any villain that ever comes upon.
Could have used it on. I'd say. Okay, well, let's get through them.
Okay,
Because that's a good point.
He couldn't have used it on Ultron. He's a robot.
He couldn't use it. He could have used it on the guy from Civil War who was just a bloke.
Yeah,
He was just a man who was in the army for a bit.
yeah. He could have done it on him.
Mandarin.
Could have done it on the Mandarin. Both Mandarin.
Yeah, both versions of the Mandarin. Killmonger.
Could have done it on him. Whiplash could have used it on
Whiplash.
quite easily on Whiplash.
Yellow Jacket from Ant-Man could have done that.
Yeah, could have done that.
Who else was in it? I don't know. Would it have worked on a Dark Elf?
I don't see why not. There is a massive.
I wasn't expecting that. Good point. Yeah. Loki?
Yeah, well, it would have worked on Loki as well.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of people I couldn't see this thing working on.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they took it out.
Yeah. Straight away he's overpowered. Right off the
First
bat.
film introduced. Oh, fuck. It doesn't matter what Iron Man ever builds or what Tony Stark ever builds, because nothing's going to compare to that really useful, almost small, inconspicuous gadget that you can fit in your pocket.
Oh, God. Genius. They better bring that back. They won't.
I don't know why he just didn't give everyone in the Avengers that little gadget, and then because Jeff Bridges was wearing the things in his ears to stop the noise from getting to him. So they could have easily have just, in the first Avengers second film, when they're running through the forest and they're beating up a load of people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't need to do that. They just sent Iron Man in with the thing.
Yeah, it could have. He probably has speakers on his suit.
Yeah.
That could have gone. Oh.
Right. Okay. So that's Ironmonger.
So that's that. Yeah. So he tricky because he's got fuck all motivation other than taking over the company. His motives are stupid, and he fucked himself over at the end.
Yeah.
Even if he'd gotten away with doing what he wanted to do,
He would have got arrested quite quickly.
He went in to the middle of the street in a giant suit
and through a car. It's people were in that car.
Yeah.
Civilians were in that car. He didn't have his helmet on. You could see who he was. I don't know what he's expecting.
You know what?
Let's just say he killed Iron Man. Let's say he succeeded.
Okay.
And that's the Avengers done from that point on because Iron Man were dead. But let's just say he does that. He's just killed the most famous person on the planet.
Yeah.
Who literally everyone thought was dead and then brought back. It's like somebody killing Bill Gates after Bill Gates was pronounced dead and then turns out he wasn't. You're not going to get away with that.
It reminds me of what happens at the end. Although it comes afterwards, it came out after Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
Right at the end, Rhino.
Oh, yeah.
And he exposes his bald head out the suit.
Everyone with guns.
Just thinking, if video games have taught you anything, right? When the enemy exposes his weak point,
you shoot.
You take the shot, all right? So that should have happened to Ironmonger. Anyway, the next film was The Incredible Hulk from 2008.
No, I love this film. You do not love this film. I don't like the villain.
I just don't
you
like...
You love the villain.
The villain, I don't love the villain. I think he's an interesting villain.
Mm.
He was never killed in the end, and they apparently it was an idea to bring him back as an additional villain in Avengers 2, Age of Ultron. Just never happened. Because so the film as a whole, I'll just talk about it a little bit. Film as a whole, it was a film that I never watched for years and years because I hate the fact that they recast the main character.
Yeah,
it felt like a bastardized child that was shunned away from the rest of the beautiful children that kept within continuity.
But it was one of the better films, I thought.
You liked the design of the Hulk,
yeah,
but I didn't. You thought, yeah, he's super angry. That's what the Hulk's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I liked the design of the new Hulk. I felt because they tried to make him look too muscly, blah blah blah. So the villain in it is Abomination.
Yeah.
Which is basically Hulk's equal.
Kind of.
He's a bit of Hulk. He's a bit of super soldier serum.
He's a bit of everything. He's an abomination.
Yeah. Yes. He is.
Hey, that's what they should call him.
Dickhead. So they teased another villain in it that never happened.
Oh yeah, the big, what's his name?
Leader,
that's it.
Samuel Stearns is a additional character in the film. He helps Bruce Banner, Edward Norton.
And then he gets blood in his head.
Yeah, thing like
Well, I think once Universal said no, you can't do your own films. That was it. For them.
right. Yeah, that's the tricky thing. Universal owns Hulk, so they're fucking assholes. So
Hmm.
they're like, blah blah blah, you can't do this. That's another reason why. Because the next film after Hulk is Iron Man 2.
Hmm.
A sequel of a really good film comes out immediately afterwards, before Captain America or Thor. But Hulk never got any sequels.
No.
But he's got bit parts in Avengers and even a Thor film.
Yeah. I mean, he's pretty much half of the
Right,
Thor
with
film.
all the new things they're doing, and obviously, I reckon after Spider-Man's bled dry, they're probably going to bring in the Miles Morales Spider-Man or Spider-Gwen or whatever, because they do a trilogy of each.
Yeah.
They got around to doing
They never do more than 4.
three.
Three.
Well, I mean, Avengers did 4.
Yeah.
That's probably it was more
Avengers
like it was 3.1.2.
I don't know if the Avengers count as a
No,
because it's.
but I don't know if they're going to do another Avenger. I don't know if they do another
I think they.
full crossover movie. I don't know if they'll call it Avengers.
I think they're building up for.
The X-Men introductions and
Yeah.
Fantastic Four, because
Yeah.
Marvel now owns Fox, and they've made
what they
made a
said-
deal. Sorry, go on.
What they said with the X-Men is that they're waiting for these set of films to finish.
I think this is the last one, isn't
I
it?
know.
Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
I haven't watched any of it. Like I watched
They're
the
good.
I watched
no,
First
the,
Class.
Apocalypse was crap.
Apocalypse was bad. Days of Future Past was supposed to be good, but I never watched it.
Hmm.
Dark Phoenix, it just looks like Fantastic
Yeah,
Four.
just
They go
looks
to
shit.
space, and one of them gets extra powers, even though
Yeah.
they've already got powers.
Yeah.
Um,
Anyway, back to villains.
back to this, yeah. So, Incredible Hulk has Abomination, doesn't get killed.
Again, but it's the same thing as the last one where Ironmonger was basically Iron Man, and then
Well, was it-
Abomination is basically Hulk.
The thing is, Well, that's another thing you'll notice is that they're all mirror versions of the main character.
Yeah.
They have almost all exactly the same powers that are evenly matched, which is kind of boring but interesting because it's like, how do I defeat myself?
Yeah, but when you see it in every single fucking one, it's just like, oh
Well,
my god.
Okay, so the
only one where it works was Spider-Man because he was already an established villain that was well thought out, and
what Vulture,
yeah, Vulture wasn't Spider-Man.
Thor 2 had Dark Elves. They're not a mirror version of Thor.
Okay, apart from yeah, but I think Thor breaks the rule because
Yeah.
no one really fights Thor equally.
I think it's I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy maybe that might break the formula a bit.
Did that have an M boss?
Which one? Sorry, Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, they
Yeah.
had Ronan the Accuser, didn't they?
Oh yeah,
And
Uh,
he had the power Infinity Stone.
yeah, I guess.
There was 5 of them. Was it 5 or 6?
Yeah, but
It's 5 of it.
yeah, but you can't really have 5
Guardians.
like you can't really have like Rocket Raccoon against like a Rocket Pig. It's not gonna-
Rocket Pig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, so that's
Although in Guardians 2 they kind of do that because it's just him and his dad, and they're the
Oh,
same.
yeah.
So I guess.
and then at the end he literally gets the same powers.
Yep.
As have a Dragon Ball Z fight.
So we've established that they're a bunch of hacks and they have no creative like. I don't know.
All the
They're a little
film-
bit creative. The thing is, what you can trust with Marvel is to make a competent film.
a consistent.
It's good quality. It's not like, okay, so when it comes to general good art,
Hmm.
I think there's only really 3 of them: Guardians,
Yeah.
Winter Soldier,
Yeah.
Infinity War.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that those 3 were good in terms of they had a vision.
No, I think Iron Man first one had a vision.
Okay, Iron Man 1 as well,
Yeah.
obviously. It's amazing that they made that work, given how long they spent 10 years fucking around with ideas, and you end up with Sonic the Hedgehog movie. And
We're redoing that now.
yeah, they came up with a trailer, didn't they? It was fucking shocking, and they've announced that they're redesigning it because they got that much backlash.
But I think that's good because I thought they didn't give a shit. I genuinely thought they just didn't give a shit. They were just trying to make some money. But then when the director said,
Yeah, but
"You know what? We're not even talking about Sonic."
Anyway,
Anyway,
so after Incredible Hulk, Abomination again doesn't die. Leader teased, never comes into being.
annoyed me.
They should bring him back
Yeah.
for like a She-Hulk movie if that ever happens. Iron Man 2, which has
Whiplash.
Whiplash, which is a guy who is smart like Tony, has
They
tech like
Could
Tony.
have done so much more with Whiplash.
Right, so is Whiplash an actual villain in the
Yeah.
comic books?
Yeah, but I mean, it just could have just made him more interesting.
How?
I don't know, like make him more of a threat, not go on about a bird every 20 seconds. Like he was so.
Where is my bud? I
when-
want my bud.
When Sam Rockwell's character, I don't know what he's called, was basically like
Something Hammer.
yeah, Like, make me a load of suits, I'll give you all the money in the world. Blah,
Oh, yeah,
blah,
he's
blah.
a bad guy as well. So there's two bad guys in the
but
film.
One of them's not a bad guy.
A shady businessman that has people killed to get his way.
Which is
pretty bad.
It's a businessman.
Yeah.
Every CEO.
Yeah.
Every CEO.
A politician, yeah. Not naming any.
Yeah, so
for my own safety.
Yep. We love our government. You got Whiplash, but he was boring as fuck. And he was so obviously like betraying Hammer. I don't know how he didn't see it when he was like, "I'll give you all your resources. Make me this," and he doesn't. And you're like, "Well, obviously."
Yeah.
It's like he wasn't smart. He wasn't interesting.
He was smart.
Yeah, but no.
But
his character wasn't.
It's like he went in knowing that he would die.
No,
like,
he went in knowing that people were just going to be more dumb than he was.
What satisfaction was he going to get out of it? So he was pissed off because Tony's dad worked with his dad and deported him.
Yeah.
And I guess Tony Stark was seen on the news, which... So this second film takes place, even though the film came out 2 years after, It takes place 6 months after the first film. So he sees Tony on the news being praised, in that scene at the end of the first movie, basically for doing what his dad was sent away for. I don't know if that sentence made sense.
Yeah.
So his dad was trying to use their tech to make weapons and shit. And Tony's now doing that, even though with different intentions. He's trying to use it to protect people. So he's like, right, I'm going to go avenge my dad who's just died.
Yeah.
I'm going to... That's it. Like, no personal...
But he builds his own arc reactor. He makes, like, these Whiplash arc things.
They're like... Would you say they're like lightsaber whips?
Essentially, yeah.
They're more like Kylo Ren's lightsaber whips because they're all dodgy as fuck.
Yeah, but for some reason that's what he decides to make instead of like a sword or a gun.
What? Okay, is he trained in whips? Imagine if he was...
No, because if that accidentally goes like on his leg or something, he's lost his leg.
Yeah, have you seen Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade?
Yeah.
You know where he finds his first whip?
Oh, yeah.
And he's messing around with it and he whips his chin.
Yeah.
And he has the Harrison Ford scar.
Yeah.
Now imagine if Whiplash were testing out a thing, cut his head off.
Yeah, exactly.
Done.
He would have had to have been training for months with whips.
Unless he was... Because it establishes he got out of prison, so maybe he was practicing with skipping ropes in prison.
But even when he got out of prison, it wasn't really any of his... Nothing in this film was any of his doing. Somebody broke him out of prison. Mm-hmm. He didn't do it himself.
Well, he got released from... Oh, do you mean after the race thing?
No, so...
He gets let out of prison.
He gets let out, and then Hammer Industries like break him out.
No, I mean he gets let out of prison at the very beginning of the film.
Yeah, at the very beginning, he gets let out. He goes back to prison after the race thing.
Right, yeah.
Hammer Industries break him out. Mm-hmm. They give him all the resources to build whatever it is he needs to build.
Right.
Doesn't build any of it, which...
Well, he turns his inventions into something else.
Yeah, and he's like, make me an Iron Man suit. So he doesn't do that. And he's like, I'm making them better.
It's strange, isn't it? Because it's like, okay, I attempt to kill Tony Stark at the race, get sent to prison. He was happy with that. If What's-His-Face hadn't broken him out, he would have just stayed there.
Yeah. It was only because he got a note in like a piece of bread saying, kill this guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's
that film.
There's not a lot we can say about him.
He basically blows himself up, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Next film came out the next year. Thor 1. Just Thor. I think they should have called...
Who's the bad guy in Thor? It's Loki, isn't it?
It's Loki, but they also have the Frost Giants. So the Frost Giants break into Asgard, and they want to get back a thing, but it turns out Loki let them in because Loki was pissed off at Thor. Cause he didn't hate him back then, but he just wanted to fuck up his coronation.
Yeah,
and he did
quite successfully.
Thor was about to be crowned king, and Thor gets. I mean, there's not much to say because Loki doesn't do much until the very end.
Loki is a very good villain in that
he lets a destroyer thing out.
Once he lets all the ice giants in and then things get a bit out of hand, he kind of goes along with it a little bit more and goes a bit more insane.
Right.
As the film goes along. And you really see his like whole betrayer side really come out. And I think it's because... I think once he realised that he wasn't actually an Asgardian...
Right, so yeah, he finds out that he was found as an abandoned baby during a battle that took place on a different realm by Odin, the leader of Thor's dad.
Yeah.
I don't know why he's pissed off, though.
I don't
Because
know.
if he hadn't been saved, he would have died.
Well, he was like, "Oh, my whole life is a lie, and you lied to me, and all that crap." But
Not
I was just
not
thinking,
really.
yeah, but I was just thinking, yeah, but you were found as a baby.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't really matter.
Remember,
does
this is a guy that saved you.
yeah,
So he,
from death.
although there was the thing where he had the argument with Odin, he was just like, "Well, why did you save me?" And just like, "Well, I hoped that if you were here, it would unite our peoples." So maybe he thought, "Well, you don't actually care about me. I'm just a thing."
I'm being used by you. But since that conversation, essentially, when Odin was just slowly dying on the ground.
In the Odin sleep.
Yeah, in the Odin sleep.
Haven't taken a cheeky Odin nap.
Yeah, that's the words he's gonna have to have an Odin shower. He just got more and more evil, didn't he? He was getting, but he never really stopped liking his dad. I mean, later on, in one of the later films,
he's always conflicted. That's why he's an interesting villain, because
he's got layers and depth.
Yeah,
and he's well acted.
So he has a fake death at the end. He falls off the rainbow bridge.
Yeah, and
because Thor loses his powers for most of the film, and when he gets back, he basically loses Loki almost immediately.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything with his powers.
Tom Hiddleston was good. He's probably the best villain in the series so far.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
I mean, that good that he comes back. He's the main villain in Avengers.
He keeps on coming back, to be fair. He's always the villain in something or another.
He's great. So, next is Captain America, the First Avenger.
Yeah. Red Skull.
Red Skull is the villain in this. And it's not like Thor, where him and Loki had a personal beef. They're brothers.
Yeah, it's just
Captain America and
it's American versus the Nazis.
Yeah,
that's what that whole plot.
What the World War II movie.
Yeah.
So Captain America gets his steroids, and then he's put in a position where he just crosses paths with Red Skull.
He's also taking his steroids.
Yeah, he tries to take the same steroids, but it's like an unfinished version, so his skin peels off.
So it's the Nazi version of it.
What's weird is that it's established that he took a super soldier serum, but he doesn't seem strong.
No.
He doesn't really fight. He doesn't do much. He gets everyone out. He has a gun.
Well, he must do something.
Well, he punches Captain America's shit shield, and his fist makes a fit like a fucking Looney Tunes thing. His fist goes through the shield, and it makes a mark in it in the shape of a fist. That's about it.
Well, there's a later bit when in one of the later films, Infinity War, when he's back in it, he's not played by Agent Smith.
He's not played by what's the guy's name?
Hugo Weaving.
Hugo Weaving. That's it.
He's played by the guy from Walking Dead.
You're about to say Game of Thrones.
I was going to say the gay guy.
Well, he is the gay guy.
Yeah.
He is the character from Walking Dead who introduces the gang to Alexandria. I don't know the guys. He's a ginger fella, I think.
Yeah, good actor.
Loses his arm or his hand or something in a later season. Spoilers.
But anyway, so he's playing him. I don't think
think
Hugo Weaving liked him.
Well, yeah, exactly. I was about to say the character was so boring to the actor that he didn't want to come back for him in an Avengers film.
Yeah, in a bit part film.
Yeah,
it would have got so much money.
I know.
That's how much he didn't want to do it.
Fuck. Oh God.
Well, it's like in the next Thor film, what's his name? Hated playing the Dark Elf. Christopher Eccleston.
Christopher Eccleston hates fucking playing everyone. He hated playing Doctor Who.
Yeah.
He hated playing the Dark Elf. I don't think he's fucking. He probably loved playing that guy in the others.
Well, there was an interview with him where he was saying there's some projects that I do for passion and then others because I need the money. And he said
that's fair.
And he said Thor was one because he needed the money. Or wanted the money. I don't think he needed the money.
I mean, I don't think you smother yourself in, unless you're Nebula from Guardians of the Galaxy. You don't smother yourself in makeup every day for a film shoot because you love it.
Oh, you would have got a lot of money for it.
Yeah, I know. But
anyway, that's we'll go into him in literally a minute.
yeah. So, Red Skull,
just a boring character.
He wasn't very interesting. They kind of had another villain in it that comes into the second Captain America film. The Zolog guy or whatever his name is, fucking guy becomes Mr. House from Fallout New Vegas. He's in it. And he kind of disappears towards the end of the film because he gets taken into S.H.I.E.L.D. to work for them. Was he interesting? No, he was boring too.
Boring. That's why I didn't like this film. The villain wasn't good. He was just a generic bad guy with no motivation apart from being a Nazi.
That was it?
That was his motivation.
He wanted a Tesseract. He got the Tesseract and he wanted to build weapons. That was about it.
Yeah, because he realised how powerful it was and they were like, they don't know what they're dealing with.
Well, he knew that it was from Odin. So here already they're like, outside of the after credit scenes leading you into each of the next films, at the beginning of this film, they say, "Oh, it was from Odin's treasure room," which was, "Oh, I know Odin from that last movie that came out this year too."
Wow.
Yeah.
What a connection.
What's funny is that the first two films came out in 2008.
Yeah.
Nothing for 2009. Iron Man 2010. And it's like, come on, we've got to do Thor and Captain America because we've got Avengers coming out in 2012. They've got to hurry this along. So it really kind of was.
But you know what is next?
Yeah, the Avengers.
The Avengers, yeah.
But this is it's not interesting because it's just Loki again.
Oh, this film, yeah. Yeah, it was just Loki, although it was also Thanos. But Thanos wasn't.
Okay, so
he had Thanos' army.
Right, so I guess it is villain related. It's in regards to the Infinity Stones. I don't think at the time this film came out, they decided that Loki's scepter, which is given to him by Thanos, contained an Infinity Stone. I don't think they had decided that yet because there's a line in the film where he says, the scepter is connected to the Tesseract. It's controlled. It gets its power from the Tesseract.
So what stone was in his...
The Mind Stone that goes into Vision's head.
Oh.
And the Tesseract is the Space Stone.
So why would they be able to control someone by touching their heart?
Well, it's just like their mind, like their heart, their soul or something. I don't fucking know.
I don't think they knew either.
So, Loki is pissed off after Thor.
He's low-key annoyed.
No, he's... That was good. I wasn't expecting that one. He's not low-key annoyed. He's fucked off. So he comes in and there's a line in it where Thor's talking to Nick Fury and he's just like, he killed 80 people in 2 days and he goes, he's adopted. So he's straight in there killing people. So I don't know if he killed anyone in Thor, but immediately he's murdering innocent people.
Yeah, by this point he's gone off the plot a bit.
So what happened?
Well, how did he meet Thanos?
Well, he fell into space, didn't he?
But where did Thanos come in?
I don't know. I don't know if did he ever cross? Like, was he face to face or did he meet up with Ronan the Accuser?
He would have had to meet. Why would Ronan have the scepter?
Well, there's a blue guy that looked.
Why did the Accuser have the army? That was Thanos' army. He would have had to meet up with Thanos.
What was the point in them even giving this? Why did they let Loki do it? Was he meant to be like their pet project? Or were they just feeling charitable?
Don't know.
What were they going to get out of it? Because Thanos could have just done it himself.
I don't know why Thanos didn't go to Earth and he just start the invasion early.
As we know, he did not want to leave his fucking chair.
Yeah.
He loves his chair.
He was going to do it himself in 2 years and then another 4 years.
3 years, yeah. Oh, we'll get to that. The inconsistencies and the contradictions when it comes to the fucking Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh, God damn it.
So, yeah, it's just Loki again. Hulk beats the shit out of him. Everyone beats the shit out of him. Who does he kill? He kills that Agent Coulson guy from S.H.I.E.L.D. who you love. No, I'm kidding. You think he's the most boring, uncharismatic piece of shit.
He was good in...
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah. No. Captain Marvel.
Well, I mean, they had to anti-age CGI him, so he probably looked like he had more life in him. That's probably why.
But I liked him in that film. He's kind of like, not the comic relief, but like the junior that you take the piss out of. Anyway, so
yeah,
not much to say about Loki again.
So next, we get on to, this is one that's just overdue, because between ourselves, we've had chats about the Phase 1, but we never really got into anywhere past that.
Okay.
So when it comes to Phase 2, there's one real villain and a dummy villain.
So Iron Man himself has the Mandarin as like his...
In the comics,
is like his antithesis, his natural enemy, arch villain is the word I was looking for.
What the Daleks is to the Doctor, yeah, that sort of thing.
That's the Mandarin. And in this, they made him sort of like a Iranian, sort of like a terrorist. Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. Ben Kingsley as well. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't any of that. It was Ben Kingsley as an Englishman who liked football
and shagging.
Yeah.
He was
and then they got
paid actor.
What's his name? Guy Pearce to play the other Mandarin with fire powers.
You know what? My chair is squeaky. There we go. That's better.
Yeah.
So yeah, Guy Pearce plays as Syndrome from Incredibles.
It's the exact same plot as Incredibles.
Yeah. So
all the way up until the end.
He really wants approval. Doesn't get it. Gets really salty later on in life and tries to kill the main character.
Yeah, he gets powers somehow and transfers his powers to other people who then have powers.
Yeah, it's like some weird firepower thing, but
which has got nothing to do with the stones. It's like the only time the stones aren't involved.
When you say the stone, you mean the Infinity Stones?
Yeah.
Well, there's a few films where Infinity Stones aren't involved.
I know, but usually when somebody gets gifted powers, it's usually via stones.
Yeah, no, it was some serum or something. It was
Yeah.
no, that's what it was. It was he was getting test subjects who had like lost arms or had AIDS or
And
something.
trying to like grow them back.
Yeah,
like a lizard.
yeah. It was a cure all, but sometimes it made
Caused
people blow up.
Yeah.
So this guy gives it to himself as well, and all his villains, and the main guy in it.
And Pepper.
What was the point of the Mandarin? Like, what? Why did he do it? Was it to?
Because basically,
Was it just to fuck with Tony?
yeah, because at the very beginning of the film, he's like, check out my notes. I'm such a big fan. And he looked greasy.
He looked like a person who attends a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament.
Yeah, he just didn't look great. And so Tony was naturally like, we could go away. Which
So, yeah.
is an acceptable response to this guy coming at you at your own pulse party, which you probably weren't invited to. So literally, he spends the next like 10 years just trying to get his revenge because Tony Stark just told him to
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Get out of my face, you sweaty piece of... Yeah, so he fucks off. He goes back, gets his revenge. He...
Not a good
well,
villain.
you know what? There was a bit where he walks out of flames and he finally announces, "I'm the one who's been behind it all along." And he
He's
goes,
like, I
"I'm
am
the
the Mandarin."
Mandarin." And I can just imagine your...
It was
your
like
brain imploding.
it was like a smile turning into a frown, then turning into anger. Well, I wasn't, but I wasn't smiling.
And your girlfriend turns to you and goes, "Ralph, what's that grating noise?" And you're just there scratching
Yeah.
your teeth together.
Something hits the side of her head, and like, where did this tooth come from? But it's like,
Honestly, that is your least.
But what annoyed me, the reason why, apart from the fact that Iron Man doesn't exist in
Is
this
it
film,
the fact that the fuck away Iron Man suits in it, and the villain they fucked up Mandarin? Are
and
those
there's
your
way too much Pepper Potts. She is in it way
Is
too
she
much.
moaning in it as much as she was in Iron
Yeah.
Man 2?
So she's in it more than Iron Man 2, and all she does is moan in it. Even afterwards, when she gets the superpowers at the end, she's still moaning in it. And then Iron Man gets his thing removed, and then they treat it like it never actually happened ever.
They get the shrapnel removed. This has become like a little mini Iron Man 3 review.
Yeah.
You needed to get some stuff off your chest, didn't you?
I hate this film. And I would have been alright with it if they would have kept Ben Kingsley as the Mandarin as like a terrorist in the Middle East. I would have been fine with that if he was the final villain. And
I was hoping that it would turn around and he's like a double bluff.
I was hoping
he'd be like, "No, I am actually the Mandarin. I was playing you."
Imagine at the end of the film, like the Mandarin is in prison, or Ben Kingsley is in prison, and then he just like smiles and then like puts on his rings or something, and then you think, "Oh, he's just tricked him. He's coming back in," but then he never does.
And then he never does.
Yeah.
Wasted potential. I mean, maybe they will make in a future film like a copycat who actually, I like that guy. I'll be like him.
But cast Ben Kingsley.
No, they'll end up getting someone else. Maybe they'll get the guy who plays as Jafar from the new Aladdin film.
The problem was it's like imagine you get Arnold Schwarzenegger to play the Terminator, but you fuck it up.
Turns out it's not really a Terminator.
No, they got Arnold Schwarzenegger to play what's his name, Mr. Freeze, which is the perfect. If you were any other director, Arnold Schwarzenegger should be Mr. Freeze. He is basically Mr. Freeze is basically the Terminator without the murderous impulses that the Terminator has, but he's basically a robot. He acts like a robot. He's got zero emotion.
Do you want to talk about Batman another time?
Yeah, okay.
I know you love Batman,
but
I know you love bringing up Batman during conversations that aren't about Batman.
Anyway, so back to Iron Man 3.
Well, no, Iron Man 3's done. There's nothing more to say. How does the villain... Well, the villain dies because Iron Man...
There was no villain. They don't even bring up the villain again.
No, he comes back at the end, the blonde guy. And then Tony tries to kill him by putting an Iron Man suit on him and sort of internally explode him, but that doesn't work.
And then
Pepper Potts was... I mean, if this hadn't happened, Tony would be dead.
Yeah.
Like a few years early.
Yeah.
She was given the same powers. So basically he was killed by his own... It's the villain being killed by a mirror version of his own strength.
Why wasn't she powerful in any of the next films?
Because they established at the end of Iron Man 3 that she gets cured and has all that fire shit taken out of her.
Why?
I don't know. Because it was slowly killing her, I think. I think they had to get rid of it, otherwise she would have died.
I don't think any of that was established.
Watch it. I know. How many times have you seen it?
Twice.
The film came out like 5 years ago.
say I've seen it twice in 5 years.
Well, it might be 6 years ago. Anyway,
Next. Cool.
Next one is Thor 2. I keep calling it Thor 2.
Okay.
It's Thor Dark World.
Cool.
A little bit of a tangent. I hate the way they do this. Iron Man 1, 2, 3, great. Captain America, First Avenger, Winter Soldier, Civil War, great. Thor the Dark World, Thor Ragnarok. Why don't they just call it Thor the Mighty?
Because it's not Captain America 2, is it? It's Captain America the Winter Soldier. And then Captain America.
No, that's what I mean. So the
Civil
first
War.
Captain America film was called Captain America the First Avenger.
Yeah.
The second Captain America film was called Captain America the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
The first Thor film was called Thor.
Yeah.
The second Thor film was called Thor the Dark World.
Yeah. They don't need a number in it, you know. It's the
No,
second
not a
Thor
number,
film.
not a number. Maybe an extra subtitle, nothing. I think they should either stick with a subtitle or a number. But it's like when they did Star Trek and then they did Star Trek Into Darkness or The Dark Knight Rises. I hate that shit. It's just a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah, but why was Dark Knight?
They did Batman Begins,
Yeah.
Batman the Dark Knight, Batman the Dark Knight Rises, or some fucking. Anyway, now I'm talking about Batman. Fuck! Look what's happened.
Right.
Fucked it up. So Thor 2, Thor Dark World. Fuck. It does have Loki in it, but he's not the main villain.
No, he's a low-key villain.
So he's been. Oh fuck you! He's been taken back to Asgard as a prisoner after the events of Avengers 1.
Yeah.
The
mean
villain
Avenger?
Avengers 1. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean the Avengers.
Yeah.
Avengers Assemble.
Yeah.
The main villain in it is a dark elf called Malekith.
Sure.
In the comic books, he's got like a half black, half white face.
Yeah.
But in this, a bomb goes off and burns half his face, so he becomes Two-Face.
Yeah.
So that's how they get.
Stop talking about Batman.
Fuck! Fuck you! This is not my fault. This is a disease that you've given to me. I'm not even a massive fan of Batman.
I am. Anyway, the problem with this one is that he doesn't talk all the way through the film. I don't think it's well, no, he does, but it's not.
A little bit. He talks a little bit, but mainly in another language.
Yeah.
Like a.
And it's Christopher Eccleston. I think he does a good job in it.
Yeah.
Just doesn't have much personality, character, motivation, reason for doing any of the stuff he's doing.
Well, he does. He has okay. So the Dark Elves got beaten by Asgardians thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
And they've come out of some dormancy. I don't remember whether it's a spell that's worn off or something. Anyway, they come out and they want to get an Infinity Stone. It's the Reality Stone.
Yeah.
Which isn't a stone. It's like a red mist.
Yeah.
I don't know whether had they decided that was a stone at the time.
I think by this point they should have realised what the Infinity Stones are, because they're in the comics. The stones. The
Right.
stones are stones.
I guess maybe they did. Maybe in the comics it's not actually a stone, because they do say in Guardians of the Galaxy that is it Guardians of the Galaxy or this? It could be this film where they say it is an Infinity Stone, but it doesn't take the form of a stone. It takes the form of like a fluid that floats around.
Don't know.
Anyway, it gets into people and transforms.
Maybe because it's a
them, makes them
reality.
crazy. Yeah, but it does do stuff to their reality, but it's more like a space stone because it warps them across space.
They're interchangeable.
They really couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
We need to get this next movie out
Yeah,
before the second
Yeah, we
Avengers film.
just need to get a second Thor film out. Cause...
How does fuck say his name?
What?
Malekith. How does he die?
I can't even remember. How does he die?
Let's have a look. Got famous theory.
I think he falls down something.
Thor.
Doesn't Darth Vader throw him down a
No. Thor 2. Malekith. Malekith. Yeah, it is pronounced Malekith. How does he die? There he is. See, burnt face. Told you.
Lovely.
Death. Well, that's the date of his death. Status deceased. Great, that's helpful.
Just scroll down to the very bottom of it. It went very Lord of the Rings, I find.
Yeah, there was a Lord of the Rings vibe to it, wasn't there? Because all of the Asgardians dress like elves from
Lord of
the Rings, and they look like the orcs. Oh yeah, so they get to that desolate planet, don't they?
Oh yeah.
And he does a thing. I think he absorbs the power and then he dies. I can't remember what happens.
But he is the most forgettable one because I can't remember how he dies.
He's crushed by a ship.
Cool.
Yep. You get squashed.
You know what? Would be the most awesome death, and it just goes to show how shit of a villain he is. I can't remember that. Imagine that when you're writing something, you go, "Let's crush him by his ship," and you're seeing that at the cinema.
Yeah.
The villain getting crushed by his ship.
But they do it with the power. Ironically, with the power that he is trying to use for himself.
Yeah.
That they use it and they teleport. There is a fun scene. It's a little bit. Villain related. It happens during a fight scene with the villain. But Thor's flying around and he's falling through different reality holes. And the hammer's following him. I love that part.
Yeah.
But that's the one good bit in the film that I remember. Next film, Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Love this film.
No, you were excited for this one. I know you were. So the villain is obviously the Winter Soldier. Yeah. And
what gave that away?
So he's owned by Hydra, isn't he? He's Bucky Barnes.
Barnes. He survived the falling off from a train for some reason.
So he falls off a train at the end of the first Captain America film, and
they find him alive.
But they do find him alive in a facility. I'm guessing that they had put super soldier serum in him.
Maybe.
How would he have survived that fall if they did it all afterwards? Why would they just find a bloke with an arm missing and go, "We can use this.
We can rebuild him. We can make him stronger."
I am Mrs. Nesbit.
Well, no, they must have, because they would have spent money on him already.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
They're like, "We've invested in this. We
not losing my money." But no, because he didn't have any powers or anything like before that. He had no superhuman in him.
I don't think they planned that far ahead, I'll be honest with you, mate. They're like, "Oh, Bucky Barnes, we killed him in the last film. What do we do? We'll stick him in a fridge for a few years."
But he lost an arm. Fuck it, it's metal.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So they give him a metal arm, and it looks pretty cool. It's like a full Metal Alchemist style metal arm.
It looks really good.
How the fuck did they build that in World War II? They don't have the technology for that now.
Maybe it was built after World War II.
It wasn't. It shows him getting it grafted the day they find him, and then he gets stuck in a freezer, and he gets like brainwashed. So he gets like
it's like a phrase they say to him.
Oh, it's a bunch of stuff in I don't know if it's what language it's in.
It's in English, and it's like really random stuff. It's like
no, it's not in English.
It is. It's like, the stuff. One of them is like freight train.
It's like code words, isn't it? So basically, he's been kept by Hydra, Hail Hydra, who they think Hydra's gone, but it's not run by Red Skull anymore. It's run by the scientist.
Yeah, the fat guy.
He got taken in by Shield in Captain America, and I guess it's infiltrated what's their face from the inside. So, well, just like every organization, really, they got corruption.
Yeah,
and that just these ones have a little bit more murderous intent.
Winter Soldier was a great villain.
Why was it? It was a great film. I don't know if it was a great villain.
No, it's because of the emotional connection between Bucky and if you could remember that Bucky existed, that is, because I had no fucking idea.
Me neither. He came in, they're like, "Oh, it's Bucky." I was like, "Who the fuck is Bucky?"
Yeah.
I have no fucking clue what's going on.
I mean, I'd watched that film recently, not recently but as in when I watched Captain America, the Winter Soldier. I'd watched the first one recently before that, and I just couldn't fucking remember who Bucky was. So when he was like, "It's Bucky," and I'm like, who?
Yeah. Yeah. He had long hair as well. He had really long hair in the first film.
He looked completely different.
Yeah.
Almost completely different.
He had the mask on. I was thinking, oh my God. Genuinely, I was like excited to see the reveal.
But it was someone who was like Captain America's equal. Because in the second film, they made such a big deal about how powerful Captain America was. Because he basically leaped out of a ship without a parachute, landed on a boat, killed everyone on the boat, and you were like, hey, they've made our Captain America fucking awesome.
Yep.
And then they brought in this Winter Soldier with a gun and a mask.
Yeah, he's got a gun. He's got superhuman strength, but he always uses a gun.
Yeah, well, gun's always going to be better than strength. Let's be honest.
Doesn't matter how much steroid you got in you. A bullet is going through.
It's the fact that Captain America is going to be better than Bucky. He's more powerful than Bucky. He's quick. He's got better reflexes. His super serum is better than what Bucky's got.
Yeah.
But it's Bucky. And once you realised that Bucky was meant to be his mate from the first film, you were like, okay, so that's why.
I never liked Bucky though, even in that first film. I always thought he's the sort of friend.
I've not liked Bucky ever since either.
He's the sort of friend you'd be worried about would shag a girl you fancied.
Well, he said that. That was one of the lines in the first film. Was like, "Oh, don't let him near your girlfriend."
Oh, was it?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, yeah, he's a little.
Anyway, good villain, fantastic film.
All right, next we got Guardians of the Galaxy. So, Ronan the Accuser. The whole film, there's not really a villain. I mean, there's Ronan. Well, yeah, he is the villain because Drax wants to kill him. He's pissed off. So the main characters, they all meet on a prison planet.
Well, Nebula's also a villain.
I guess she is. Yeah. So Nebula is Gamora's sister.
Didn't like Nebula.
Thanos' daughter. What?
Yeah, but I didn't like Nebula.
Why?
Just don't think she was acted particularly well.
What's her name? The woman who...
Terry Gilligan.
Terry Gilligan.
I feel like I got that wrong. That's from Superman.
Karen Gillian.
Karen Gilligan.
Karen. I think it's Karen Gillian.
Karen Gillian.
She's a Scottish ginger one that was from Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Amy
she's a good actress. I just don't think she
was better I think she's better as Nebula than she was in Doctor Who. God. But then again, Doctor Who is not that great anymore anyway. So
I don't think anyone's particularly good in Doctor Who.
not since 2009. Yeah. We'll talk about that some other time. Yes.
There's not much to say about the villains. The film isn't.
It's tricky because you want to focus more on there's more good guys.
Yeah. Well, the film is all about the good guys. It's all about the Guardians coming together. There's no big threat.
It kind of ties into Captain Marvel because the Kree are the bad guys in this, and they do say we are the Kree. Blah blah blah. There's a guy, the very first guy, the black dude who's got the metal things in his head, the one who finds Star-Lord finding the Power Stone. He is one of the team members in Captain Marvel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's in it, and Ronan the Accuser, who's the main villain in Guardians, is on that ship right at the end of Captain Marvel. He just doesn't have his black shit on his eyes.
Well, do you reckon they knew he was Kree before Captain Marvel came out? Or do you reckon that was like...
I guess people were hoping that they'd forgotten about the events of Guardians of the Galaxy. Otherwise, going into Captain Marvel, you think, well, I know they're the bad guys. Yeah. I didn't. I completely forgot. So until I saw...
Let's be honest.
Well, I recognised him. Sorry to interrupt you, but I recognised the black guy. Yeah. But not because he was in... I mean, obviously I did recognise him from Guardians, but I thought that he was in Thor 2. Do you remember there was that scene in Thor 2 where that guy's in a prison cell opposite Loki, and he stabs some weird shit into him, and he turns into like a beast with horns? Yeah. I thought it was that actor. Well, you lost your phone?
No, yeah, so go at it.
So, where are we at? Guardians. Yeah. He has a Power Stone. He's really salty, and he basically says, Thanos, I'm going to kill you, which is a ballsy thing to do.
To Thanos.
he gets one Infinity Stone, and he thinks he's the big I am.
But what, did he get the Power Stone?
He gets the Power Stone.
To be fair, he got the Power Stone.
Huh?
To be fair, he got the Power Stone.
Yeah, but he couldn't wield it.
He did. He put it in the hammer.
Oh, yeah. Well, they say that you can't truly wield it or even touch it unless you're a being of immense power.
Or in Endgame.
Yeah, like what the fuck? like Star-Lord, who's half
God.
What's the actual species?
Celestial.
So he's half celestial, half human, and even he can't deal with that shit on its own. Sorry, here comes Tony Stark with his the glove. I've got problems with that glove. We got
another episode.
Another episode. Fuck me. Fuck. What have you done?
I dropped water all over.
Don't worry about it. It's just water.
Okay.
So.
Sorry about that.
The after credit scene on this film was no, it wasn't. That was Howard the Duck. Was there? What was the after credit scene? I was thinking Avengers 2. No. Thanos has plenty of.
Thanos doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
Howard the Duck turns up.
Yeah. It was Stan Lee. Was it Stan? No, Stan Lee was at the end of it as well. Was he halfway through the film? Where he's talking to like those people in space near Thanos' throne. I think he was halfway
through because
he was like, "Help me! I'm stuck here. How do I get home?"
Thanos was the reason that the whole place got destroyed.
Right? Yeah. So
Thanos came in, destroyed everything because the Collector were there as well.
That's in Infinity War. He doesn't destroy anything yet because what they do.
In the end of the Guardians film, the Collector's there. His whole place has been destroyed, and how the Duck's there, like smoking a cigarette.
Really? They did it that soon?
Thanos came there, yeah.
I thought Thanos does that moments before they go there in Infinity War.
Or maybe it wasn't Thanos himself. Maybe it was like.
I don't know. All I know is at the end of Thor 3, they leave the red Reality Stone with the Collector, and in Guardians, before they know what they've got, before Star-Lord knows he's got a Power Stone,
maybe,
they go there and they're going to leave it with him as well.
Maybe.
And that's where Ronan gets it.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Anyway, next we have Avengers Age of Ultron.
Right. I like this film and I love the villain. I think the villain's got a lot of depth to him. He's quite funny. He's the whole point that he's...
The villain's got loads of depth to him.
Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah, I thought for a robot, he's got quite a lot of character. I thought he was voice acted really, really well. Loads of people don't like him, and I don't know why, because I genuinely thought he was a really interesting character.
Let's have a look. Who was he played by? I forget the name of the villain.
Ultron.
No, not Ultron, but I mean like the actor who plays as Ultron.
I don't know.
Fuck me.
Just go on to
hold on. It's showing me all the comics. I do appreciate the fact that they show me the source material and not straight to Ultron. He's one from that film.
Yeah, but there'll be
He's played by a very well-known actor, and I can't remember his name, and it's really embarrassing actually.
I didn't just go on IMDb for Age of Ultron, or the Wikipedia for Age of Ultron.
Yeah, Age of Ultron cast. I think that'll do it. There we go. James Spader.
Yeah,
that was it.
I love James Spader. So he was really, really good, and I thought I just thought he was a good villain. I thought he was believable in the fact
Tony makes the fucking villain.
Tony makes him. Tony fucks up.
Well, one thing we didn't really talk about because
basically what happened was he was like, Earth needs. Sorry, I completely interrupted.
All right, fuck me.
Tony was like, okay, the Earth needs like a defense system, so I've made Ultron, and then Ultron like went online to like the internet. I was like, fuck me.
This is. Look at these cunts.
Need to exterminate everyone. Jesus Christ. Humans are not good.
You know what? He must have just gone, look at all the porn.
Yeah, there's so much porn. What is it? What, rule like 32?
Oh, no. Oh, God. I mean, Iron Man's well established. Thor, the events of the Avengers are on there. So even in this world where superheroes exist, there's going to be Avengers fan fiction and fan art. Yeah. And Ultron's seen all of it.
Yeah.
He's
seen Iron Man and he's seen Captain America doing
gangbanging Black Widow.
Yeah, in some porno, and he was like, I didn't need to see this. So he decided, you know what, I'm just going to kill everyone, and then I'll just do it like that. It's got nothing to do with the fact that he's some maniacal sort of like wants to conquer the world. He just wants to end it.
He wants to end it because he's the biggest fucking nihilist since Rick from Rick and Morty.
Yeah, he's like, all this is pointless. Like, you guys just do not.
I never asked to be born.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Tony has something we didn't. I was about to say, and then you cut me off. Fuck you. And then something we didn't mention in Iron Man 3 because it wasn't an Iron Man 3 review, but Tony has like PTSD from the events of Avengers.
Yeah.
And he had like a weird. I don't know whether I think it happened in this film because Scarlet Witch, who's kind of a villain in this as well up until the end. She's like because she does that thing to Hulk, makes Hulk fight Hulkbuster, makes him go crazy, and because Ultron is like trying to brainwash her and Quicksilver, who I'm pretty sure are never called by their superhero films ever.
No,
which
they weren't allowed to.
Yeah,
they didn't have
the permission because they didn't own Fox at the time. So they have them, and she does a thing to Tony, and he sees the events of Endgame. He sees Captain America's broken shield, and he sees all his friends dead on the floor. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And ever since then, he's been super paranoid. So he goes to build.
That never happened.
No, it did. Yes, it did.
When did his shield break and all of his friends were on the floor?
In Tony's mind, like she makes him see things that don't exist.
When did that happen in Endgame?
Captain America's shield gets broken in half. Do you not remember?
Oh yeah, it did.
Yeah, exactly. So they foreshadowed it.
Yeah, they must have known what they were doing.
Yeah, well, and then they went, let's copy that thing from that last Avengers film.
Oh, let's just watch Avengers quickly. What did we put in? I forgot.
Well, that's why when Tony faces Thanos in the Infinity War, he's just like, you know me, and he's just like, yeah, you're not the only one who's been gifted with knowledge, you know, because he's seen it coming.
Okay.
That's why Tony's like all geared up to fight this motherfucker, and he knows the big fight's on the way. So he creates Ultron in an attempt to, because they got the scepter.
Yeah.
And this is where they decided they want to make the scepter a separate Infinity Stone from the Tesseract.
Yeah.
And they separate it from the scepter, and it's the Mind Stone. And they use it to create a way better AI than Jarvis, which is Tony's computer system. Except it cannibalizes Jarvis and becomes its own thing, and it makes it start. He makes a suit start singing Pinocchio songs.
Yeah.
Because, #Disney, they own everything.
Literally...
So I suppose they got the rights to do it now, don't they?
Could have done Star Wars as well. That annoyed me about him. Just to move on very, very quickly to the end of the cinematic universe. In fucking Captain Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
So they called the cat Goose in reference to, Top Gun.
Yeah,
but
of course.
In the comics, the cat's called Chewie.
Yeah, because he's the co-pilot.
Yeah, but they had the rights to Star Wars.
We've had this conversation. It's because Disney owns Star Wars and Marvel.
Yeah.
They're currently making Star Wars films that star Chewie. And if they start calling Marvel characters Chewie, it might just confuse the little kids.
I don't think that's a good reason.
It may not be a good reason.
They changed the source material and they could have kept it. I could understand if they didn't own Star Wars and they were like, we can't call him Chewie.
Yeah.
Sued by George Lucas. But they didn't have to.
You might want to... You're quite facing far away from the microphone. You're probably coming in a bit quieter.
All right.
You got it.
Anyway,
cool.
So you know what's even more confusing?
What?
Calling a cat Goose.
That frustrated me. I just hate the sound of the name.
Yeah.
Goose. It just sounds horrible.
Anyway, Ultron.
So Ultron...
good villain. I think
again, he gets defeated by an equal version of himself. He gets killed by Vision.
Yeah.
So Vision is his new model that he was trying to do that gets jacked by Jarvis and the Mind Stone.
Yeah, but yeah.
It was originally for him, wasn't it?
Yeah, they made this super armor that was
out of vibranium.
Vibranium and living tissue or something.
Yeah. So it was like the final cell form. He wanted his body, but he never got it.
Yeah.
So he was stuck in his shit suit, and he was going to end the world. He ripped a whole city from the ground and was going to thrust it back to the planet. And
which was apparently going to cause the end of days or something.
Well, it was going to cause a effect it would have been basically like a meteor hitting a planet.
Yeah.
And the effect of it would have basically covered the whole Earth and killed every living thing. It's fair enough. They tried to do a Final Fantasy VII and failed miserably.
Yeah.
They blew it into pieces and they said no. Was it they said each piece or something would? No, I'm thinking of something completely different. I was thinking of an anime where they had a very similar plot, where there was meteors coming to the planet, and they said we'll blow them up, and each piece will be no bigger than a suitcase. Is that maybe it's the anime? Maybe it is a film. I have no fucking idea what I'm talking about.
Let's move away from it.
Moving on.
Should we go to the next film?
We'll go to the next film because he dies. It's next.
Unless you want to do part 1 and part 2 because we're now only halfway through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we call that part 1?
All right. So we're probably going to. There's a lot more films in Phase 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, because Phase 3 has about the same amount of films as Phase 1 and 2 together.
All right, cool. We'll wrap this up.
Sweet. Thanks for watching. Join us next week when
we
sandwich.
Well, I'll just say now, we actually haven't finished Phase 2. We still got Ant-Man. So,
yeah.
But we are about halfway through all the films.
Okay.
So we'll just go through the rest next time. And we'll probably have a lot more to say about Endgame anyway.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sweet.
See ya.
Peace.